So let's talk about the foreclosure timeline, and specifically we're talking about California, and we're talking about the non-judicial process. Once you've missed your first payment, after 30 days, technically your lender has the right to begin the foreclosure process. Typically, it usually takes between 3 months and 4 months, and then you'll receive a notice of default. But there are times when it can take up to 2 years or more before the bank actually starts the foreclosure process. Technically, the foreclosure process starts, and a hard timeline starts, when a notice of default is filed with the county recorder's office. So the lender's contacted the trustee, they've said this borrower is not making their payments, start the foreclosure process, and the trustee files a notice of default with the county recorder's office. Now this becomes a matter of public record, so once it happens, you can expect to get mail and people knocking on your door, realtors saying that they can help you with a short sale, attorneys saying that they can help you with a bankruptcy. That's why once you get the notice of default, all of a sudden you start to get a lot of junk mail. So the foreclosure process begins on the day that the notice of default is filed with the county recorder's office. That starts a hard timeline of 90 days, and after 90 days, the trustee has the right to file a notice of trustee sale. This gives you a 21-day notice, and the notice of trustee sale will actually have a sale date posted on it. So throughout this whole time period, from missing a payment all the way until the notice of default and the notice of trustee sale, that's your timeline in order to find a solution to prevent a foreclosure. It can happen all the way up until the day before the sale date. Now once those 21 days go by, we have a sale date where the trustee tries to sell the property at an auction, which is held at the county courthouse steps. If that doesn't happen, then the home reverts back to the lender. So what happens after a foreclosure is immediately the previous owner becomes a tenant, and tenant-landlord laws apply in California. So within 1 or 2 days, typically an REO agent or real estate owned agent is assigned by the bank, and they will drive by the property, find out if it's occupied, and if it is, they will contact the bank to start the eviction process right away. This is so that they don't lose any time. Now the eviction process from the bank standpoint actually starts when they file an unlawful detainer with the court. Now the REO agent may offer a cash for keys, where typically the banks will offer money for the homeowner to move out, or the previous homeowner to move out. Usually the quicker they can move out, the more money the banks are willing to give. If a cash for keys negotiation is not successful, then typically the eviction process takes about 60 days. If an unlawful detainer is filed, that's a summons to go to court. You can file a response to that and then go to court, and then the judge eventually would tell you when your last day in the home is going to be. The sheriff will then give a lockout notice, and after the lockout notice is provided, you have 5 days to remove all of your possessions, and then you have to leave the home within 5 days. Now sometimes people ignore all of the notices and even wait the 5 days. The sheriff will actually knock on the door, and if you're still in the home, the sheriff will give you about 15 minutes. He'll ask you to get your medications or anything that's critical, and he will actually have a locksmith there to lock you out of the home. Now, you also have 18 days to coordinate with the real estate agent or the new owner in order to regain your possessions. So the stories about people having their possessions thrown out on the street, typically that's not the way it should be handled, and you may have some legal rights. I would recommend hiring an attorney if something like that happens to you. Technically, you have about 18 days.